The lobby of the Hotel Astoria gleamed under the golden glow of its chandelier. But to Ethan Marshall, the brightness only highlighted the chaos in his head. He had flown in from Los Angeles that morning for an exclusive charity gala, something he usually enjoyed, but tonight was different. Across the lobby, a tall woman with sleek black hair and a predatory smile was striding toward him. Vanessa, his ex, the very woman who had taken his heart, wrung it dry, and then tried to wring his bank account just as mercilessly. She looked like she belonged in that glittering lobby, draped in a red gown that hugged her frame like a dangerous secret. Ethan felt his chest tighten. He wasn't afraid of her, not exactly, but he knew what she was capable of. If she cornered him now, she'd either cause a scene or start weaving her web all over again. And then he saw her, a young woman, maybe mid-20s, standing near the entrance with a small, worn leather bag over her shoulder, looking slightly lost. She wore a soft lavender dress, nothing flashy, but somehow it made her stand out. Her brown hair fell in loose curls around her shoulders, and she had the kind of eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 unspoken thoughts. Ethan didn't know her, but he didn't have time to think. In 2 strides, he crossed the marble floor, reached for her hand, and said in a low voice, "Please, just go along with this." Before she could react, he laced his fingers through hers, pulling her gently but firmly toward the elevator. She blinked in surprise but didn't resist. Her steps fell in line with his as though they had rehearsed it. Vanessa's voice cut through the lobby like a whip. "Ethan." He didn't look back. The elevator doors slid open just in time, and he ushered the woman inside. As the doors closed, Ethan let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. The stranger looked at him, wide-eyed. What exactly just happened?" "I'm sorry," he said, running a hand through his hair. "That woman back there, my ex, let's just say she's complicated. I needed an excuse to get away." The woman tilted her head, studying him with quiet curiosity. "And you thought grabbing a stranger's hand was the best escape plan?" Ethan gave a sheepish smile. "In my defense, you look trustworthy." She raised an eyebrow. "You make a habit of judging trustworthiness at first glance." He chuckled, relieved she wasn't furious. "Not usually. But, thank you. I'm Ethan." "Claire," she said after a brief pause. "Claire Thompson." Something in the way she said her name carried weight. Not sadness exactly, but as if she had learned to tread carefully around new people. The elevator dinged, and they stepped into the quiet hallway of the 12th floor. Ethan hesitated. "I don't want to impose, but can I buy you a coffee as a thank you? There's a cafe across the street." Claire hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Okay, but only because I'm curious about the kind of man who stages elaborate escapes from his ex-girlfriends." The cafe was warm and smelled of cinnamon. They sat at a corner table, Ethan ordering a cappuccino while Claire asked for tea. For a few minutes, they just talked about small things, the weather, the charity gala, the absurdly expensive sandwiches at the hotel. But soon, the conversation slipped into deeper territory. Claire told him she'd grown up in a small coastal town in Oregon and had come to the city for a job interview. Her parents had passed away years ago, and she'd been on her own since 18. Ethan found himself leaning in, listening to every word. There was something refreshing about her honesty. No calculated charm, no subtle fishing for his net worth, just real conversation. When it was his turn, Ethan skirted around the details of his wealth. He said he worked in investment projects, which wasn't untrue. But he didn't want money to be the thing she saw first. Hours slipped by like minutes. It was nearly midnight when they stepped outside. The city lights painted the streets gold. And for a moment, Ethan forgot all about Vanessa. The next morning, Ethan found himself thinking about Claire more than he expected. He told himself it was just curiosity. After all, it wasn't every day. He met someone who could make him forget his past for a few hours. He texted her, "Lunch today? My treat." She agreed. Over the next week, they met almost every day. Each time, Ethan felt more drawn to her, her quiet resilience, her laugh that always started small and then bubbled over, the way she listened like his words actually mattered. Claire, meanwhile, found herself torn. She liked Ethan, more than she wanted to admit. But she couldn't shake the suspicion that there was more to him than he was letting on. His clothes, his watch, the way the hotel staff seemed to know him by name. She wasn't naive. Finally, one evening, she asked, "Ethan, who are you, really?" He froze for a moment, then sighed. "I'm Ethan Marshall, CEO of Marshall Capital." Her eyes widened. "You mean the Marshall Capital? The investment firm in the news?" He nodded. "I didn't tell you because people treat me differently when they know. I didn't want that with you." B. Claire looked away, processing. "So you're a millionaire?" "Technically," he said with a small smile. "But I'd rather just be Ethan to you." She studied him for a long moment before speaking. "Money doesn't impress me, Ethan. But honesty does." Something in his chest eased. "Of course." Vanessa didn't stay away for long. One afternoon, as Ethan and Claire walked out of a bookstore, Vanessa appeared on the sidewalk, all charm and venom. "Ethan, darling," she purred, ignoring Claire entirely. "You've been avoiding me." "Not avoiding," Ethan said flatly. "Just moving on." Vanessa's eyes flicked to Claire, and a cruel smile curved her lips. "And who's this? Your charity project?" Before Ethan could speak, Claire stepped forward. "Actually, I'm the woman he's with now. And unlike some people, I'm not here for his bank account." Vanessa's smile faltered. Ethan slipped his hand into Claire's, not out of desperation this time, but choice. "Let's go," he said softly. As they walked away, Ethan realized something had shifted. Claire wasn't just the stranger who'd helped him escape. She was the anchor he didn't know he needed. Months later, Ethan stood in the same hotel lobby. But this time there was no Vanessa. No frantic escape, just Claire, smiling as she walked toward him. He held out his hand, and she took it without hesitation. "Still glad you grabbed my hand that night," she teased. He smiled. "Best decision I ever made." And in his heart, he knew it was true.